Hey y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Angel, aka the Angelic Muse. I'm an intuitive tarot reader as well as a certified Reiki practitioner. And as you can see from this title, the title of this video, I am here with a pick a card based on what it is that you need to hear right now. So, as you can see, we have 3 piles for you guys to choose from. So for pile 1, we have this Snowflake Obsidian. For pile 2, we have Unakite. And then for pile 3, we have Kiwi Jasper. So I did pre-pull all the oracles, and I'm going to pre-pull the tarot as well. But, you know, this is just the deck that we're going to be using here. But so if you want, you can go ahead and pause the video so you can gravitate on whichever pile you're drawn to. Whether it's one or all 3 is entirely up to you and your intuition. However, if none of these gravitate towards you, you don't gravitate towards them, this reading just may not be for you. But I pray you come back for another one. So all of my links will be down below, as well as the decks that I'm using and all of my information. If you want to book a session with me, you can do so over at my website, www.theangelicmuse.com. And other than that, I think we are all pile 1. So if you chose the black obsidian crystal, almost forgot what it was, then here's your reading. So we're going to start out with your tarot first, and then we're going to get into your oracle. So for your first card, you have the Fool. Your second card, you have 5 of Cups reversed. Your third card, we have Knight of Cups reversed. Your fourth card, we have the Hanged Man reversed. And then your last card, we have 6 of Pentacles reversed. Okay. So what this looks like to me, it feels like, okay, we started out with the Fool. And the Fool is typically, you know, full of optimism, and it's almost making me feel like you started out one way, not knowing what to expect. You kind of surrendered to something and started on something, you know, with high hopes, although you didn't know what to expect, but you feel like you're lacking now because of the results that you received from it. With this 5 of Cups in reverse, it does feel like you have some part of you is looking towards the future. However, the other part of you is having a hard time with it. And I only say that because the Knight of Cups in reverse is right next to it. And this is not necessarily someone who is fully tapped into their emotions or wants to actually embrace their emotions at this time. It's almost as if you, like I said, you started out as a fool, but then you scaled back and kind of became recluse and closed yourself off to the world because of the whatever results it was that you received from this thing, whether it was a bad business investment, or not even bad, but just, I don't want to say careless, but it just didn't work out. It wasn't favorable, or it wasn't a favorable relationship or a favorable just outcome in general for what it is that you're talking about here. It just doesn't seem like it was balanced in a way that was conducive to all parties involved. Then with this Hanged Man in reverse here, there does seem to be, you know, I know Hanged Man upright is all about like feeling a certain way about something, but also gaining a new perspective. However, with it in reverse, it just gives me the feeling of someone, again, who does not want to see the world for what it is. And that is truly a blessing. It may not feel that way right now due to your current circumstances, but I feel like what you need to hear is that, you know, rejection is redirection, and sometimes we can't fully see the outcome of something, and so God will step in, and no matter what it feels like in the moment, God will step in and recourse us to allow us, or we'll have a chance to pivot. Even if it's unexpectedly, we'll be able to pivot and create something else. It's almost like the temperance card in a sense, where you kind of alchemize and make two things work that you didn't even know you could in the first place. So I'm feeling like with this Six of Pentacles here, this just goes back into the feeling of lack, or like wanting to close yourself off, but you're being advised not to do any of these things. You started out as the Fool. The Fool is like carefree. It's the epitome of freedom, and not even carefree in the sense where some will call it, you know, youthful or immature, but it says here it's time to embark on a brand new beginning. So I feel like this just should be a test to your character, and in saying, okay, this is how you started out and this is how you'll end as well. It's the only card you have upright, and I feel like what it's saying is to keep that about yourself. Continue to keep your integrity, continue to keep and even on the card it says lack of commitment here. Not to say that you don't know how to commit, but it's just saying don't hold so tightly onto things. Don't hold so tightly onto the outcome of things, because life is forever changing and it's constantly moving. So it's kind of like you have to not play the fool, but in a sense, be keep that freedom to you, because you know that at the end of the day, none of us are attached to this world. We're not of it. We're in it, and it's all temporary. So if you think of everything in terms of being temporary, then you know that outside of energy, nothing lasts forever. So I really feel like what you need to hear is to just continue to embrace yourself and the qualities that get you up and going, that keep you in your like foolish type energy here. It keeps you upright. It keeps you, that is your character, that is who you are. Do not let any of your outside circumstances um break you, or make you feel like you have to be something that you're not even. Um Let me get into your oracle cards and see what they say now. Your two lessons, you have envy and success. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. And then I know that there is no greater goal than to love. Even in focusing on your envy and your success cards, before I even read these, they're both orange and yellow, like orangish yellow. So this is definitely lower chakra energy, solar plexus and sacral. It feels as though, and I would think that envy and success were both tied to the two as well. There's also some red in here, in the picture. I mean, there's a bit of every color, but the cards in general. The only reason I say that is because I do find that at times the lesson cards, they tend to, like, the colors for them tend to stick out to me a lot, and more often than not, that is the chakra that the person listening to needs to pay attention to. Um, but I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges, just goes into what I was saying about everything being temporary. Even if you think of people's situations that you might admire, or, for lack of a better word, be jealous of or envious of, then just it is all temporary. It may feel good in the moment for them to have it. It may be good. It may be comfortable, whatever the case may be. But we all deal with our own stuff outside of that. What they have in one area, they may not have in the next. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny or make this like weird or anything, but I just went to go see the Beyonce movie. Beyonce got like all these fans and all the time in the world, but she also had to work, I think, for 42, 43 days straight And that takes away from her time as a mother, she said. So it's like someone would be envious of that, but sometimes all she wants to do is just chill out with me and mom. And, it's like just looking at that, she may envy a regular 9 to 5 mom. Maybe not for reasons that we may think of, but just for that simple reason, for just being able to have more time, or not even like 9 to 5, but a stay-at-home mom. I said 9 to 5, a stay-at-home mom, but even a 9 to 5, it's just a regular day in, day out. Whereas she just working 42 days straight is crazy. 9 to 5 is only 40 hours a week, guaranteed. Like unless you want salary or overtime or something like that. But I'm just saying, it's definitely worth looking at and putting things into perspective in that sense as well. And then with the success, I know that there is no greater goal than to love. At the end of the day, if you don't love your success or what it is that's tied to your name or whatever it is that you've built, then does it really matter at the end? Someone can come up and have $1 million, $1 billion, but they can't find love because they don't know how to operate in that frequency or something like that. Whereas maybe you can, or maybe that's what you're dealing with right now, is that this is in terms of like a relationship or something that didn't work out, or you just don't know how to be optimistic about it. But the thing is, if it didn't work out, it's because there's greater coming for you. The goal is to love. The goal is to find that. So if you know that it didn't work in one area, then that doesn't mean it won't work out in another. And the remaining optimistic, while also being realistic, is important. It's important to find a balance here. And with realistic thoughts and realistic perspectives, you'll understand that envy and that jealousy that you're feeling are all just a distraction in the end. So then you have Fortune's Wheel, luck and right timing, represented by the number 23. And you have Horseman, Herald of Change, represented by the number 30. Okay, as soon as I saw this Horseman card, I thought of Sagittarius. And it is Sagittarius season. So I just thought about Sagittarius and like Jupiter energy and just luck, which ties into this luck and right timing Fortune's Wheel card. I feel like what these two cards together are saying is that you really just never know when things will change for you. Just like wind is unpredictable at times, so can God be at times with what his plans are for you. One day you'll wake up and you'll think that life is going to be one way, but I mean, as unpredictable as it is for other people, why couldn't it be that way for you? Why are you not, why do you not feel as though it could happen for you, is what I'm getting. Because like I said, based on your tarot, it just seems like you're really, really closed off to the idea of better being there. But like I said, the Fool card is the only one upright, and that's like who you are at your core, I feel. And you just have this Uranian, like this, you have the ability to adapt and change and deal with the unpredictableness. I mean, right now you may be in a rut or in your feelings about something, but you have the strength and the power to like endure and go for whatever it is that you're striving for. You have all of that energy like within you. And then you have, I'm going to read those out the book as well, but then you have Go the Distance, represented by the number 47. I'm sorry. And there's a cheetah on there. So yeah, like I said, you have the endurance, you have the strength, you have the power, you have the will to go for it. You just have to like kind of put your mind to it and tell yourself like, okay, this didn't work out, so what's next? So let me go ahead and read your oracle of the book. So Fortune's Wheel is on page 46, and it says, luck and right timing, a turn of fortune. The Fortune's Wheel is a sign that luck has found the right timing in your life. You have the magic touch and everything turns to gold. There's nothing you can do wrong. You only need to hold what you desire as your intention and it becomes true. Do not waste this power on trifling things. Dream big, for surely this opportune moment will pass. Such is the nature of Fortune's Wheel. Use the creative power of the Fortune's Wheel for the benefit of others, and the gifts will be returned to you tenfold. Use it only for your own gain, and you will be left with impoverished and with the bitter taste of squandered opportunity. Fortune's wheel comes unannounced. Notice the early signs, the coincidental encounters, and the seemingly magical and synchronous events that herald its arrival. That call, that email, that invitation, that chance encounter was no accident. They all were choreographed by fortune. Do not wait any longer. Recall your boldest and noblest longing and invite it into your life. This invitation is all that is required. So basically, just like what I was saying with the if you think about your mindset and your perspective and what could potentially come in for you, if you're thinking negatively about it, then you'll be closed off to it. Whereas if a grand opportunity or something better comes in for you, you won't necessarily see it, because although you are taking steps to move forward, you're going moving forward in a direction that is still closed off, if that makes sense. And it's not benefiting you or others around you or the situation or anything like that. You kind of want to keep your options open when it comes to just life experiences in general. It doesn't even have to be anything in particular, but just not walking around as if, life is happening to you when it's really happening for you is very important, especially in moments where we feel down or we feel like we're not good enough or whatever the case may be. Those are the hardest times, but they're also the most important, if that makes sense. Like, it's easy to do it when you're up already. It's easy to be like, oh, well, everything's working out for me, when it realistically in front of your face is. It's when those down moments come in and all you have to rely on is yourself and not what you're seeing. That's when it's the most important. So then you have Horseman, Herald of Change. That one is on page 60, and it says, good news, caution, herald of change. When the horseman appears, he is inviting you to spread the good news. Everyone already knows the bad news. Your task is to point out the beautiful when others only see the ugly. Note the impossible, no matter how implausible it may seem. This does not mean becoming giddy or blindly optimistic, but rather reminding yourself that every storm has a silver lining. Become a herald of the positive. Put away the fatalistic attitude, the dire predictions, the dreadful expectations about the world or about your life. Declare the arrival of a new and better you. Proclaim that you have risen from the realms of the dead, woken from a long and dreadful slumber, and are back on the world stage. The show is on again. The horseman cautions you to not allow your exuberance to become hollow or trivial. Be sure that there is substance to the news you spread, and you are willing to live up to the expectations you raise. The world will welcome you with open arms as you share an uplifting message. Heed the horseman when he shows up once, for he bears good news and is announcing a prosperous and peaceful time. When he shows up twice in the same reading, though, use extreme caution. If you heed his warnings, all will turn out well. So yes, this goes back to what I was saying about, like, expecting the unexpected, even in terms of, like, you went into this whole situation thinking one thing. You may not have thought of, okay, what if it goes the other way? But that's exactly what these cards are telling you to do, or God is telling you to do. Move forward. The message here is moving forward. The message here is, okay, listen, you went into something, you had these expectations of it, but you have to be mindful of, like, the fact, again, that life changes, people changes, energy changes all the time, whether it is known to you or not. You can only control what goes on within you, which is what this Fool card is. And that's all you, like, everything else, leave the rest up to me. So even if you see something happening that may not be fitting the picture that you have in your mind, I'm telling you, this is not me talking. This I'm just speaking as if, like, not as if I'm God, but just as if this is what the message is saying. You're being told, like, listen, control what it is that you can. Don't harp on what it is that you can't. But when I say control what it is that you can, that means throughout the entire process. Don't let up. Naturally, honor your emotions, but do not let up or let yourself get down to the point where it knocks you off your center or knocks you off your square. Because you never know what moves God is making for you behind the scenes. or maybe even right up under your nose. It's kind of hard to see it when you're stuck in this like whole mentality of feeling like you're lacking, or feeling like you don't want to put yourself back out there because nothing is good enough. Like, let me go ahead and read your last oracle here. It says, "Go the distance." Um, and that one is on page 176. The essential meanings are endurance, strength, and the long haul. And that goes back to what I was saying with that Fool card. The oracle's message here is, to bring your dream to life, you must think long term and pay no attention to the fluctuations in the current of your experience. Joy and disappointment commingle with opportunities, so there's no need to fear the occasional obstacle. Life is not a sprint. This card is a reminder that you have endurance, strength, and fortitude to carry you all the way. Remain true to yourself. Your authenticity alone will keep you in alignment with the energy of miracles. What is yours will never be withheld from you. Remember that. Exactly. So all of whatever it is that you may have experienced, whatever you went in thinking it would have went a certain way and it didn't, that just means it's not for you, or it's not for you in the way that it was initially presented to you in. But that does not mean anything, that these won't turn themselves around. Sometimes obstacles, again, like it says in the card, are there to build strength and endurance. Just imagine if, say you, and I know it may not be easy, because if you have like a very Saturn ruled chart, you are bound to like have an obstacle filled life. And I understand it because I do. So um going back to what I was saying, it makes sense when you get knocked down from something. It's not like, oh, I'm picking on you, let me knock you down. It's more so, no, get back up. That's like riding a bike. You're gonna fall off a couple times. When you fall off, you realize, oh, I didn't keep my balance this way or that way, or oh, I didn't stop or brake quick enough. Whatever it is that you have, like, you got to learn the inner workings of the bike. You have to learn how to ride the bike. The bike's not learning how for you to ride it. It already has its whole function and its whole life, or whole purpose or whatever there. So just think in terms of life itself. Life is already there. You have your purpose, and it's up to you to be able to learn the inner workings of your purpose. So if that comes with having to be knocked down a few times, because you have to learn how it feels to, and I know it sounds crazy, but just think, someone who's handed something to the, like, just freely, like, oh, you want this here, you want this here, you want this here, you don't learn to appreciate it. And then when you do come to get it, you're like, yo, I had to go through some stuff to get it, but I'm so happy it's here. I'm so grateful I learned how to maintain it. I know that if I fall off this way, this is what I have to do to maintain it even more, or whatever the case may be, or to get it back. There's so many different reasons why obstacles are there for us. It's not necessarily to hurt us, or to make us feel like, to harden us, or to make us feel like we're not worthy, or to make us feel like we can't do it. And again, like I said, with you having the Fool card and you have the Five of Cups right next to it, so it's not like it's a matter of you not moving forward. It looks as though you still have that ability to be like, you know what, things happen, let me move forward. But it's just as though it seems as though some of the actions that are being taken along with that, or some of the the thoughts that are being told to yourselves or thought to yourself, aren't really benefiting the situation or the cause. It's actually making things worse in a sense. But what you need to hear, again, like I said, is that as long as you keep that faith in that core, like, spontaneity, that you're fearless. I wouldn't even call the Fool foolish. I would say this is a fearless energy. It's like, I'm going to get up and keep going regardless. It may hurt sometimes. I may not know what to do every time, but in those moments where I don't know what to do, I will do nothing. It's okay to not do nothing, because sometimes if you do something, it could make it worse. And a lot of times when you feel like you don't know what to do, you kind of grasp for straws, and just try to think of a way to do anything. And it's not, do nothing. Pray about it. Talk to God. Get right with your angels. Talk to them. But don't necessarily don't because I'm looking at the Six of Pentacles energy, and with it in reverse, it does somehow like make me feel like, and in the upright position, it's about like sharing and giving back and things like that. So in the reverse, it just makes me feel like someone who is, like I said, grasping for straws. When you grasp for straws, you're like grasping at anything. That could be something that belongs to someone else. It gives me like desperate vibes. Not to say you're desperate for some, but sometimes we'll do things out of desperation. Like say for example, this is about like you had a unfavorable business deal, but this is you going out and like spiting other people because that didn't work out, or you had a failing relationship, and so you go out and you break hearts or something like that. Not saying you're that kind of person, I'm just saying it just gives me the, or not even that you'll go out and break hearts, but say it's unfailed, so you just feel like, let me control everything, let me blow their phone up, let me control everything, let me ride by their house, something like that. It could be anything, but that in reverse, it just doesn't give me the feeling of, it gives me like a feeling of desperation and doing things because you feel like you have to, when you don't have to do anything but just let God work, and let God work and figure out the timing for you, because you don't have to know everything. So pile one, I pray this resonates with you. I hope it did. If it does, let me know down in the comments. You can like and subscribe as well. All of my links will be down below. If you'd like to book a personal session with me, you can do that over on my website. And I thank you so much for being here, and I pray you enjoy the rest of your day or your night. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. So if you chose the Unakite crystal here is your reading. We're going to start out with your tarot, and then I'll pull your oracle in a minute. So for your first card, you have the Justice card. For your second card, you have the Three of Pentacles. For your third card, you have the Seven of Cups. For your fourth card, you have the Eight of Cups. And then for your last card, you have the Ten of Wands. Okay. So, I feel like with this pile, so what I'm seeing here is like there's two sides of you. So you have, and you're right here in the middle with this Seven of Cups. I feel like on one side, like maybe outwardly or to other people, they may see you as like this well put together, very orderly, very structured, very committed, determined type person, very balanced. You outwardly have this appearance to where it seems like you have it all together. This Justice card is giving me like full on Venus energy. I know Libra is the ruler of the Justice, which Libra and Venus are tied to each other. So it's giving me like the feeling of like just someone who outwardly just wants to maintain a certain look for themselves, very prim, very proper. But then, and you're like the Three of Pentacles has here, you're very innovative, you're very goal driven, oriented, you work well with others, you're very friendly, just a bunch of like great qualities within you. And maybe you did need to hear that you have that to you, that way to you, because you do. But outwardly, that's just what it looks like. And then it seems like inwardly, you go through it. You have this, there's times where you just want to up and walk away from any and everything because you feel like you have a heavier load to carry than others. You may seem like overwhelmed or overburdened or unfulfilled when you're by yourself. You may even find yourself crying at times or just stressed out. that it's really interesting how the cards make you feel, because like on this side it's like someone who's smiley. I don't know if you ever see the meme where the person, it's like a cartoon meme where somebody's holding up a smiley face sticker face in front of them, and then they just, they're crying and behind it. That's just the feeling I'm getting here. I know that meme's supposed to be funny, and it is, but this isn't. Like, this doesn't feel like it. I was gonna put it up there just to see if anyone, but that's just the feeling I'm getting here. Somebody who like puts on a good face, or like puts on a mask, or who, it's almost as if you want things to look a certain way, so you go so hard to make sure they stay that way that it burns you out. And it's like, it's okay for things to not look prim and proper all the time. It's okay for you to say you need help. It's okay to not want to do things alone. It's okay to feel like I want to walk away from everything. It not to say that you should. I'm saying it's normal. As and when I say it's normal, I don't mean that it's okay. I just mean it's very human for you to do that. That's what I mean by it's okay. It's definitely not okay that you're feeling this way. It's definitely not okay that um you know, feel like you're lacking in whatever area. But I think that what you need to hear is that you have a lot more control over this situation, and what it is that you allow into your life than you think you do. um I feel like any opportunities that present themselves to you, you have the free will to say yes or no to them. So if you're saying yes to a lot of things, knowing that you don't have the capacity to take them on, but you just want to, maybe you, in a sense, you have people pleasing tendencies. Maybe you have some codependency that may need to be worked on, that is like deeply rooted. There could be a number of different things, reasons why someone constantly says yes, or wants to be the martyr of the situation, or wants to save, or do everything. But the thing is, you'll end up being burnt out. You can't go and give 100% to, you can't go give 100% to everyone else and then not have it for yourself. It's not conducive to the situation. It's not conducive to the people involved, and it's surely not conducive to yourself. You have to save some save some room for yourself, save some love for yourself, and save some obligation for yourself, because at the end of the day, without you, there's nothing to look forward to, or anything of that nature. But I just want to go back to the Seven of Cups energy here, because it feels like maybe for some of you, you spend a lot of time in your head as well, because that's where you have the most control. You may even receive messages, or just insight in your dreams if you actually remember them, or whatever the case may be. You may, or if you write them down, you may want to go back into your dream journal and see if anything sticks out to you that may be, giving you any insight on what it is that you could do to move forward throughout this, your own personal experience or journey. But you may feel like you need to ground yourself a lot more than usual, because your reality seems so overwhelming, because you don't know how to, I don't know why I was going to say you don't know how to put things down. I don't know why I was going to say that, but I'm going to go with it anyway. I stopped myself, but I was like, why did that even come to my head? But maybe for some of you, you don't know how to put things down. Maybe you do always feel like you need to go, and do, just to keep busy, so that your mind doesn't go. But at the end of the day, I think that you can find peace wherever you are. And I don't know why the quote, well, I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but I think it's like, wherever you go, there you are. It's something to that effect. I think that's what it is. And it just basically means like that you, like, literally, first of all, your perspectives, and you could be in the middle of a dark room, and someone tell you to imagine what it looks like to you, and you're going to have all these visions in your mind. And then you could tell 1 to 10 people to do that, and they're all going to have a different vision in their mind, because wherever you go in your mind, that's where you are. So just to think, your perspective is everything. So if you're in a situation where you feel like it's overburdened or whatever, that's when you take a step back and you say to yourself, okay, this is the situation that I'm in. Let me do X, Y, and Z. Let me write down whatever it is that's overburdening me, or let me just make a mental note of whatever it is that's overburdening me, so that way I can go sit down with myself when I'm making myself an obligation and a priority, when I'm taking a step back to see what it is that I need, and then I will work to figure out who can help me with this, what can help me with this, what will alleviate some pressure off in this area, whatever the case may be, so that you could create the reality that it is that you want. So that way, when you go to see it, wherever you go, there you are. Like that, you are the creator of the space in which you are in. I understand we can't necessarily make things happen for us, but we can control ourselves and the energy in which we put out, and we can control like certain dynamics and aspects of our lives. Whether we get hit with a curveball or not is based on perspective as well, because what's a curveball to you may not be a curveball to somebody else. And I think that this is all about like the same balance and equilibrium, and attention to detail, and the same like care you take with yourself outwardly is the same that you should have inwardly, so that it will reflect in a way to where, like, you know what I mean, like it all evens out, it all balances itself out. I pray this is making sense. I know it's a lot, but it's like there's two different sides of you here. So let me read your lessons first. I was about to go from the back. So you have two lesson cards here. You have, I want to expand my consciousness and my awareness. And then you have gratitude. I am thankful for this life and the opportunity that it presents. So I think that what growth and gratitude are both saying to you is also green and yellow. So definitely solar plexus, heart chakra, and the green heart chakra. I don't know why I said green, but the heart chakra is what balances out both the lower and the upper. And I think that with you being in your head, and with you needing to ground yourself a bit, working with that, like it says, I am thankful for this life and the opportunities that it presents. I think that if you were to balance out your heart chakra, or balance out whatever it is that you're feeling, that would, or sort through what you're feeling and what is and what can be changed. That'll help you find some type of, like, that'll be some sort of outlet for you. There are many different outlets that people have access to, in order to get yourself kind of out of your head, but it's going to be different for everybody. But I think that this will help you to not only see the beauty in having so much on your plate. I know it sounds crazy, but being gifted or rewarded the opportunity to even do the thing is a blessing, because there's someone who can't. So I say it, whereas you're not looking at the thing as if it's a chore or a burden, but more so it's just something that you have to collaborate on someone else with, or something that you have to maybe it's a good thing, or it's great that you're able to do it, but it just doesn't fit you. And this is about just tweaking, like, okay, it was fun while it lasted, but it doesn't serve me anymore. Or I can do all 5 of these things, but this 6th thing I'm gonna have to give to this person, because whatever the case may be. And then with growth, I want to expand my consciousness into my awareness, knowing that, okay, like maybe you're the type, I don't know why I just thought with the 3 of Pentacles, I just thought about someone who feels like if you look, it's 2 people and they're kind of taking direction from someone else. Maybe you're that someone else that people take direction from, and you feel like you have to be in this like leadership type role all the time. But here's the thing. If you have an assistant or something, and you just say, this is an example, you have an assistant, but you feel like they're only qualified to do some things. but you're like, this is too much for me. I need to teach this assistant how to do this, or I need to teach someone. Teach your assistant so that your assistant can sharpen their skills or whatever the case may be, so that they're able to do it just like you or even better. And that's no slight to you. It's just to say we all have they may be able to. You really don't know until you try. I think this is about understanding that just the same way you learn something or you can control something or you can do something, it's the same way someone else can do it. Maybe someone with more time on their hands who doesn't have as much going on. It could be so many different things. But if this is just like naturally just talking about your qualities here, and it's just basically saying you have this like demeanor, I think that what this growth is saying is, again, like, it's okay to not always have it together. Even if you are in control of all these things, it's okay to say no. Like, you don't have to be a yes man or a yes woman in order to get things done. You can just say no, and not allow them to hold so much weight over you, because it's all just going to lead back to this 10 of Wands, where you just feel like, oh, I gotta say yes, I gotta say yes. No, you can say no and be okay. So then you have Garden of Venus. Oh, and I said Venus too with this Libra card. Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. And that's represented by the number 25. Rest and renewal. Yes, that would definitely line up with what you need to do. Then you have Root Girl, the disowned self. And that's represented by number 46. And then you have 16, All That Glitters. All That Glitters isn't gold. Before I read these out of the book, that All That Glitters card just makes me go back to the words prim and proper, where it's like you feel like you have to put on this good face. But the thing is, and people may be envious of you as well. They may be like, oh, blah, blah, blah has it all together. They know how to keep this in order. They look so good doing this, or they do this so great. All that glitters isn't gold, because inside such and so is going through it because they need help, but they won't say it, or they feel like they took on too much but won't say it. Like it, yeah. I'm gonna read these out of the book though. Let me see. You have Garden of Venus, Rest and Renewal. That is on page 50, I think. Yep, 50. And it says, the place of all is well, rest and renewal, self-acceptance. When the Garden of Venus appears, you are invited, actually summoned, to return to the pleasure garden of love. It is time to leave the field of battle. Put your sword away. There is nothing you need to defend anymore. Step through the gate into the garden of earthly delights. Bask in the joy of the wish-fulfilling trees and the scent of the healing flowers. You have returned home. You are weary, and it is time to rest deeply and be renewed. Go into the sacred garden alone, as there is no need for another to be present to experience its pleasures. Really, stop looking for the other. Enter by yourself. Allow your senses to intoxicate you. Leave all thought behind. Lose your analytical mind and return to your body. In the Garden of Venus, there is still a pond that shows you your reflection when you stoop down to drink. Who is that staring back at you? Look at who you've become. Rinse your face with these healing waters and practice deep acceptance. Love who you have turned into with all your imperfections and blemishes. The goddess Venus holds a mirror that allows you to see yourself in all your flawed beauty. Do not become caught in its spell. After a quick glance, take the mirror with you and return to the battlefield, that you may reveal to others who they are becoming. Then you will no longer have a use for your sword. That right there, this card right here is tying all into this energy here. I feel like you with the 8 of Cups and the 10 of Wands is you just letting it all go. Maybe not necessarily in a way that is of self-acceptance, but the Justice and the 3 of Pentacles card is literally tying into this, is saying, what is your definition of beauty? How do you think it's supposed to look? If you think it's supposed to be this prim and proper, well put together, always on point thing, that's not the case. I can literally tell you right now from experience, like, I used to be so caught up in like the way I had to present myself Even when I started this channel, I was like, oh, I go back, like I gotta talk a certain way, or I gotta, but no, I'm at a point where I'm just like, I'm gonna do me, because I know at the end of the day, my definition of beauty may not be like anybody else's. You could do it this way all you want. Somebody else is still gonna look and be like, nah, that's not it for me. So you could think you have this universal way of looking at beauty, like, oh, it has to look this way, but there's always going to be someone who does not like it, and you do not want that someone to be you yourself. You don't want to create this definition of how you think you're supposed to show up and then end up hating it in the end, because it tires you out, or it makes you feel like you're lacking, or you're not good enough, or you're just so caught up in your head that you like, or you just want to escape or get away from your reality because it looks good on paper, but it's not good for like the internally. It's not good for the inside. And what this card is telling you is to put all of that down. And then it even said, don't look back for anybody else. This is all for you. This does not involve anyone else, any other obligation, or nothing. Like, you were not born to be a machine for everyone else, or to be a standard of beauty or something like that for everyone else. You're the only person's opinion of you that should matter or hold the most weight is the one you have of yourself. Yes, you can take criticism and constructive criticism and advice and things from other people, but at the end of the day, this is between you and your creator, your God. You know what I mean? Like, this has nothing to do with anybody else. So this is about finding your own balance, not what balance looks like to the outside world, or what you think balance looks like to the outside world. Because I can guarantee you as well, what you think beauty looks like, or balance, or whatever, there's literally a whole nother side of the world that thinks the exact opposite. I'm telling you, the way the world is, if you really like dig deep and you're like, oh my gosh, like, these people do this, I would never do that, but then they think it's so normal. Like, you know what I mean? It's really not a matter of judging yourself so harshly or feeling like you have to live up to a certain expectation, because it's not true. So then you got Root Girl, the Disowned Self, and that one is on page 92, and it says, the disowned self, hidden beauty, the need for acceptance and love. Root Girl sits shivering, unclean and naked at the base of the tree of the self. She is unloved, unwanted, and shunned for her deformities. She has no home but is safe burrowing underground to dwell near the deepest roots of this sacred tree. Who is she to you? Could this urchin be the one part of you that, reintegrated, can lead you to wholeness and true purpose? This is a part of you, the embodiment of a deeply flawed perception of your failures, manifesting as guilt and shame. When you project envy onto others and any emotion or instinct that you've learned to repress or deem unnatural, it's this homeless child self-crying for attention, acceptance, and love. You want to lash out, ignore it, push it aside, all the while refusing to acknowledge this ugly quality as belonging to you. But yes, if you would only look into the Root Girl's eyes and see the beauty in the unmet need, your unmet need, you would realize that this part of you asks for your compassion and understanding. This part of you was born when you were wounded and were conditioned to believe you're not whole, that your expression of self is somehow too much or too little. You may have even inherited this creature from your ancestors. However, it was this child's self came to be curled. Oh, it was this. Oh, maybe that's. Oh, however, it was this child's self came to be curled up at its roots of your sacred self tree. It's time to welcome her into your heart. When you do, everything you've been searching for becomes illuminated, and your path lights up with renewed purpose. When you come to love Root Girl and claim her as your own, accepting her in your humanity, she is transformed just as you are. Then all manner of magic begins to arrive in abundant form. Look for the beauty. And that, it's crazy. This side is this, and this side is that. So even in those moments where you feel like you need to walk away, or like you just feel like you're not good enough and you want to just leave everything behind, that is the most crucial time for you to really love on yourself. It's not when people are telling you, "Oh, you look so nice in this area, this state." It's when you're in these uglier parts of you. And I don't mean ugly as in like unattractive. I just mean it feels muddy, it feels murky, it feels like you're literally like regenerating, or maybe even being swallowed up by your own emotions at times. When you're feeling like this, that's when you go here. When you're feeling disowned, that's when you rest. That's when you renew. That's when you do nothing, because it's okay. It's all right to do nothing. You may have been drawn to one of the other piles, but if not, then that's fine. But I feel like this message may actually be like a all of what it is that you need, but it's just reminding me of the one of the other ones. Um it's definitely giving me like embrace everything. You know what song is coming to my head? Because y'all know I love to give a good song. It's Marvin Sapp. It's Thank You for It All. That song is like the embodiment. Is like, I thank you for the good. I thank you for the bad. I thank you for the ugly. I thank you for, because I didn't know. You would listen. Look at this girl. Like nobody would want to go near this girl. There's nothing wrong with her. It's just that she just doesn't look like she really does. She looks helpless. She looks like she wants to be alone. She looks unfixable. But that's because that's you. And the only person who's going to want to go near that is you. The only person who can go near that and fix that is you. Even if someone else were to come in and try to fix you, if you don't have or you don't know what that looks like, you trust yourself more than anyone else. And if you don't, then start building that trust within yourself, because that she is the only one, or he, but I know my general like analytics say female, so like I'm just going with it. But if you're a guy and you're listening to this, you too, like, just being able to embrace all parts of yourself, because you can't, like, disowning her. I was going to say you can't disown her because she is you, like the page says, or like the book says. You can't get rid of these things, so you might as well learn to integrate and live and work with them. This is like your shadow side here, the parts of you that go untouched or even unchallenged at times. Sometimes we have to challenge our shadow selves in order to see the light. Let me just read this last card here, All That Glitters. And it's on page 60. It says, a need to see beyond the superficial, the desire to don a mask or dress something up to disguise its true nature, trying to be something you're not, chasing after every sparkly new thing, or being mercurial. The message here says, it's only human to want to adorn oneself in trinkets and paint a pretty picture of oneself. It's natural to want to acquire the trappings of status or to deny them as a statement of rebellion. But if it sparkles, is it better? Whether it's a fast car, a big house, a title or position, the stamp of authority, or the sparkling of diamonds, these icons let you know something about a person, place, or thing. Or do they? The truth is that people seek to acquire things because of what they will do for them, and how they symbolically will elevate them and make them more attractive. This card signals that it's time to see beyond the adornments and probe underneath the surface. Learn to recognize the masks people wear and the motives underlying them. Imagine that all the glitter is gone. Would you just still desire the object or the person? And I think that this is a question you should be asking yourself. If all the glitter was gone from the way that this looked over here, would you still want it? If outwardly you still seemingly like looked like you had all of it together, would you still want that if you knew it came with you feeling like you were overburdened at the same time? Had you known, like, because hindsight is 2020. We go into things thinking something, and then it turns out one way. We look back and we're like, oh, I would have did this, and this differently. Think of your life going along like this for the rest of your life, and you getting to the end of it, and somebody's saying, hey, would you want your life to go like this at the end, knowing what you know now? And you might just say something like, no, I would have not cared so much, or no, I would have not overburdened myself, or felt like I had to be superwoman, or whatever, or felt like I had to show up in this way because I noticed there were way more important things in life than showing up a certain way, like taking care of myself. So, yeah, I think this what you need to hear is that it's okay, like I said, to say no, put things down, not overburden, not overwork, not show up in this prim and proper way, and to be able to define your own definition of beauty, what that looks like, what that feels like to you, and not the rest of the world or other people, because you don't want to leave this world with any regrets, or what feels like regrets. So, pile 2, I thank you so much for being here. I pray that this resonates with you. If it does, please let me know down in the comments. You can like or subscribe as well. All my links will be down below if you'd like to book a personal session with me. And I think that is all. I thank you all so much for being here, and I pray you enjoy the rest of your day or your night. Hey, pile 3. So if you chose this Kiwi Jasper here for your crystal, then here is your reading. So I'm going to start out with your tarot, and then I'm going to get into your oracle in a minute. So for your first card, you have the Hierophant. For your second card, you have the Seven of Cups. For your third card, you have the Fool. For your fourth card, you have the Tower. And then for your last card, you have the Four of Swords. Okay. So it's interesting because I think it was pile 1, we had the Fool card, and it gave me the feeling, a completely different feeling than I'm getting here. So I feel like what you need to hear right now is that shit happens, mistake happens, things happen in life, but everything happens for a reason. There's no such thing as coincidence. There's no such thing as like that wasn't supposed to happen. It all is by design, truly. Even when you feel like, well, what the hell? What the hell happened? So what it seems like, okay, let me just break it down. It seems like there's a way of doing things, right? There's like a structure. There's something that was done religiously. It's like a habit, and there's structure. There's order. There's this way. But then you got a little curious. Maybe not even curious, but you kind of got a little bit. Let me see what this word. Why did I say disenfranchised in my head? I don't know. Let me look it up now. Let me see what that means. Disenfranchised means to deprive someone of the right to vote, deprive someone of a right or a privilege. I don't know why that word. To deprive of a legal right or some privilege or immunity. Feeling disfranchised means a feeling in a person or a group of having no power or opportunities, or of not being represented in the political system. I don't know why that came to me, but then again, the Hierophant is here, and that does talk about like conventional, like conforming, and like just, I can see why the word would come to my head. Okay, so anyway, I'm just going to keep it going. It just feels like, in a sense, you were deprived of something. You were deprived of like some sort of like freedom, in a sense. And so you got your mind to wandering, or feeling like you wanted to do something maybe a little impulsive, or maybe you didn't even feel like it. Maybe it just happened. And you did something impulsive or foolish, because the way that this card is coming up to me now, for me now, is in a more of a careless or carefree manner, whereas it's you're really not thinking, you're on a whim, but it didn't lead to what you thought it would. It actually blew up in your face. I don't feel like this fire is here without reason. I do feel like there's literally some sort of heat that hit this pile that was unexpected. It's almost like, when you're told not to touch the stove and you touch it anyway, and you feel the burn. And I feel like that's almost what happened here with this pile 3. So maybe like life was just going along, and then you did something that you may not even have full on reason as to why you did it. You may not even like have full like comprehension of what it was. But it was reckless of you, and it caused something unfavorable to happen to your situation. It caused some sort of separation. It's caused disaster. It caused some sort of confusion. Either way, the foundation that everything that you had was built on, you found out it was a lot more shaky than you thought it was. That you felt like it was stable, and now it's causing you to kind of retreat and go back. This Four of Swords is definitely putting me in a fearful state. I was going to say, it does say rest. I was going to say, typically when I see the Four of Swords, I see it after or feel the feeling of it after the Three of Swords, where it's like more of like a recoup, or like, oh, let me heal. But with this, I feel like it's more so like, I just want to stay to myself now. I don't want to make anything other moves. I don't want to mess anything up. But the thing about it is, again, like I said, everything happens for a reason. And we all make mistakes. We all do things that may or may not be in the best interest of ourselves or another every now and then. But if you can literally come to the point where you're like, okay, I take responsibility or accountability for whatever this was. This happened the way it did. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be all you're doing. It could be the doing of someone else. It could be the doing of multiple parties or things involved. But the point is, nothing in this life is perfect. And, energy is ever changing. Circumstances and the way people feel and outlooks and perspectives are constantly changing. So to think that because you did this one thing, that it's like the end of the world, or that there is no brightness or future ahead of you, is it's kind of backtracking in a sense, because that's not what this is. You have the religious points, you have the structure, you have what it is that you can go back to. This is just a matter of going back to that and not allowing yourself to overstep again. It's not saying, hey, you messed up, go live in fear now. It's saying, hey, you messed up, figure out what you did wrong there. Or this, not even you messed up, but for a lot of you, I'm getting like there was something that on your end that was done. And I don't mean it, when I say you messed up, I don't mean it like you fucked up, like you're a horrible person. I just mean, shoot, we all do it sometimes. Like, child, anyway. And if it's not you, then apply it where it needs to be applied. They messed up, or this situation. Not even, it doesn't even have to be a blame game. It's just me, this is just how I speak. But it's about like just saying to yourself, okay, this just needs to be rebuilt. I can rebuild this. I want to rebuild it back on the foundations that I had, and the principles and the beliefs that I had here. I want to go back to this. Because if you think about the fool's journey, the 0 comes before the 5. So it's like you was at the 5 and you said, hey, let me go back to the 0 real quick. Then you ended up all the way in the 16, at the 16. But it's crazy because 6 minus 1 equals 5. So it's like this was telling you the whole time, like, listen, just go back to this. You don't have to be fearful. You don't have to be afraid. And even when I look at this 4 of Swords, it's almost like you are beating yourself up about it. With those swords pointing down at you, it's like you just can't escape whatever it is that you're thinking about, or whatever it is that's happened. Whereas that's not the whole point of this experience. The whole point of this experience was to get you to just understand, like, listen, sometimes you got to stick to the script here. Sometimes you can't stray too far away from that. Otherwise, you're going to bite off more than you can chew. The Hierophant, although that can, for some people, they see traditional like ways as boring, or like just too conventional, too conservative, too whatever the case may be. And it's like, no, that is there for a reason. That's not there just for fun. It's there because it creates a certain type of order and balance for the world, like, in which we live, and we all have unique, tailor-made lives. So you have to find which structures, what traditional values, what religious viewpoints, what knowledge, whatever it is, what constructs work for you, and then work, build upon that. But you can't get there. And it's okay to be in full energy at certain times, but this just didn't seem to be one of those moments in time. And again, this isn't a beating yourself up moment. I think that that's exactly what the message is saying, is don't beat yourself up. Don't feel like you have to stress over what's next or whatever. Really use this moment to get quiet and recoup and regenerate and rebuild, because that tower was going to fall one way or another anyway. Whether you did this or not, something else could have come up and did it. If the structure was faulty, the structure was faulty. It just so happens that what you did caused that type of reaction within it. And for some of you, maybe it just happened earlier than expected, or it just out of nowhere. Typically towers do. Sometimes we see them coming, most times we don't. But it's literally nothing that can't be undone, redone, rebuilt, restructured. As long as you still have the opportunity to do it, then it can get done, is what I'm saying. So let's get into your oracle cards. Let's look at your 2 lessons. You have honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. And then you have failure. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Exactly. Because you're not a failure. That's what I was saying. I was picking up that for a lot of you, like, this was something you did or whatever, and it's okay. I mean, granted, whatever you did, everything's by design. Don't beat yourself up. Don't harp on it too much, or whatever the case may be. Just be honest with yourself. It says I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. So I think that comes with just sticking to the facts. What happened? What happened in this situation on your end? If it was other parties involved, their end, whatever the consequences were, whatever. Just sticking to the facts and not adding on to it. Not feeding yourself lies or falsehoods based on your feelings or the feelings of other people's, because feelings tend to get amplified in tower moments. So at times there could be things said that aren't really meant, or it could be things done that shouldn't be done, or like, things are just heightened and exaggerated. But I think if you stuck to the facts in this situation, it wouldn't feel or seem as bad as it may when you like sit in your feelings about it. And then even with the failure card, I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. Like I said, with this tower, it was going to fall anyway. Faulty tower is a faulty tower. If it's built on bullshit, it's going to be, or not even bullshit, but just like, if it's weak, it's going to be weak regardless. This just made it fall. And so it's just a matter of rebuilding. It's about learning from your mistake and moving forward. But don't consider yourself a failure. Don't count yourself out just because this one moment in time happened, because you got the rest of your life ahead of you. And if you were to take this one moment and allow it to define you, or be the base point of where it is that you like go to for your outlook on what things should be or look like, then you're going to be, you'll stifle yourself throughout the process. You'll make it a lot more difficult for yourself in the process if you continue on in that way. And then you have skywriting the fates, represented by 49. And you have number 52, spirit of the river, movement toward adventure. And then you have by the book, represented by the number 11. 11, by the book. That just gives me like balance. That gives me like justice, like law and order type feeling. So again, hierophant energy, where it's like sticking to the script sometimes and not really straying away from what's what. I'm going to read those out of the book though. You got skywriting and spirit of the river. So that is on page, skywriting's on 98. It says, the fates, that which we cannot change in non-judgment. It is written in the sky that you have a destiny. You are being invited to explore certain aspects of life unique to you and you alone. That does not mean that your path will be easy, paved with gold and littered with diamonds. Nor does this predict that your journey will be treacherous. It is just your path with parts that cannot be changed and must be radically accepted as they are. In this way, whatever you are faced with, every single aspect of your life is perfect in its imperfection, not good or bad, neither inflow nor blocked, this nor that. See your life as a series of opportunities rather than an obstacle course. Once you master the skill of non-judgment, you're open to the power of curiosity, uncumbered by the burdens of yesterday's fear as you look ahead into the potential of the future. Yes, you still need to be brave. Right now you are facing a critical moment in time with an opportunity to meet your fate, a choice point where you expand your influence and your capacity for abundance, love, and purposeful action. Now is the moment to leap into it, whether it be a heart connection, a call to creativity, or new identity in your work or another area of life, with all your heart and soul. Your success is surely written in the stars. In order to bring your destiny to fruition, you must jump into the adventure with both feet, and do your part. Yes. So skywriting the face is definitely giving like nothing is a mistake. It all happens by design. But what is for you will continue to be for you as long as you make the conscious decision to build upon that. But looking at the imperfection of all of this, you will notice just how like perfect it really is, or just how tailor made and fit it is to your particular circumstances. Even if you're looking at it like if you try to look ahead into the future, like what can this do for me in the long run? Well, you know not to do it again. You know what I mean? And it's better to learn now than later. It's definitely better to learn now than later, especially when you're building upon something, no matter what this is, whether this is job related, relationship related, friendship related, whatever, just any type of life decision. It's just better to know now. That would you rather know it now than later? It's really a matter of asking yourself that. And if you would rather know it now, then this is a pivotal moment for you. And that right there is enough to rewarp your perspective on this and saying like, listen, I would rather know this now, so I genuinely know not to do it again, or I know how to do it next time, or I know not to stray too far, and I know I didn't learn these things for no reason. It kind of gives you a sort of appreciation for the thing. And then you have Spirit of the River, number 50, and that one is on page 100. It says movement toward adventure, addiction to problems, and allowing and trusting the current. The Spirit of the River invites you to step into the flow, to stop swimming against or avoiding the current. Allow the waters to carry you downstream, away from the eddies and whirlpools. It's time to heed the call of a new adventure waiting for you. Stop working on the problem for a while. The issue is not what it seems. It is your addiction to fixing what has gone bad that is consuming so much of your time. Work to create a greater good, and the bad will resolve itself on its own. There is nothing that you can accomplish with more efforting, as the situations in your life right now are subject to forces beyond your control. Recognize this, step back, and trust the flow. There is no loss of face or lack of honor or integrity. It is simply the way things are at this moment. When this card appears, it is time to say yes to the next leg of your journey. Your life is like a river, inevitably and inexplorably flowing to the sea, which is your divine destination. Be fearless and release yourself to the rushing water in the middle of the stream. Whatever it is you're holding on to, the feelings, the thoughts, the beliefs about how things are or how they should or could be, can be fixed easily with the power of the Spirit of the River. Simply let go and enjoy the thrill of the ride. All will be well. So yeah, I think this is definitely saying stop thinking so hard about what happened or what you could do to fix it, and to just, like it says, flow. Like if you're gonna embody this full energy here, to step out and go against the grain, embody this full energy and going back along with it. Even if you find yourself like I said, someone either got Like, I don't know if it's a matter of you just got sidetracked, distracted, you got bored and tired of the same old thing and you just went on ahead and did something. But there are just understanding and appreciating the rules of life itself, the rules and the laws of life, and understanding that for every consequence or for every action there's a reaction, and for everything there is a consequence to it, and that so that we're more mindful of it. And when it comes to important things like the structure, like the tradition, like the principles, the morals, and things that you stand by and that you're rooted in, you have to learn the importance of them in order to understand the magnitude and the gravity of them. And I think that it's saying to take heed the importance of them while continuing to flow and have fun and enjoy life, but doing it with some sort of like uh I want to say tactfulness to you. Like, not doing having fun, but responsible fun. Being responsible in what it is that you do. Even if you want to like go out on a whim and do things, just making sure you're doing it in a way that covers all, like, your all bases are covered before you do it. And just maybe thinking once, twice, three times before you go forward and do the next thing. To avoid um things like this. But also in knowing that if it does happen, it's supposed to. I know it sounds so crazy. It's like you're being mindful, but you're also understanding that life is going to do what it needs to do anyway, even if that does mean shake some shit up without telling you. So I know it sounds. It's like, how do I go into things making sure I'm doing everything right while still kind of letting life be life? But again, it's all about just controlling what you can and really being sure of what it is that, like, just knowing yourself is really important here. And then lastly, you have by the book represented by the number 11. And that says abiding by social rules, conformity, respecting cultural or family customs, and universal laws. And the message here says the universe works within a structure of divine laws and principles that provides a framework for human experience and evolution. The law of abundance, the law of prayer, the law of karma, the law of attraction, the law of thought, the law of compensation, and the law of nature are only a few that are known. These principles create perfect order and operate with a kind of precision beyond human understanding. Even revolution has its place in universal law. Human beings, in turn, have their own laws and customs that vary from culture to culture and family to family. Laws keep social order and govern behavior, reflecting an instinctive understanding that harmony is important. This is the time to learn these laws and conform to them, rather than being the rebel and flouting them. When this card appears, submit to structure and follow the rules, even if they don't seem to make sense. This is crazy. Release resistance for universal laws. Oh, release resistance for universal laws will correct any disharmony. Open your eyes to those universal laws, and it will be easier to go by the book at this time. That is perfect. I'm glad it said like it's beyond human understanding, because I was in here trying, like, I know what it is that I'm trying to say, but I'm like, I feel it, but I can't explain it to the point where it's like, because it's beyond human understanding. When I was saying the whole thing about kind of being tactful and mindful about what it is that you do, but also understanding that life is going to do what it wants. It's like you kind of gotta like ebb and flow. We're like all balls of energy floating around here, just kind of get in where we fit in and find what works for us. But in the midst of that, we're bettering ourselves and trying to work towards this thing and find structure and find order. But then life shakes itself up. So it's like, well, no, you still maintain that order while life is shaking itself up. So that way you are rooted in that when life is shaking up, and you know not to like allow it to waver or knock you off your course or whatever. It's so crazy trying to explain it, but I hope this is making sense. I pray it does. I feel like it does, but it's like I don't really go back and re-listen to my readings anymore. I used to in the beginning. I'm just praying it does, because yeah. I hope this resonates with you guys, Pile 3. I'm about to get up out of here. I thank you so much for being here. Please let me know if it resonates with you down in the comments below. You can also like and subscribe as well. All my links will be down below. If you'd like to book a personal session with me, you can do so over my website. And yeah, I thank you all so much for being here. I pray you enjoy the rest of your day or your night.